Hi everybody. Welcome back to Ryker Rides. I'm Beth. Happy to have you here today. What we're doing, I'm very excited about this install. I know I said that about every install, but this one I'm very excited about. This is the smart brake module. It has an accelerometer in there and a gyroscope and a motion detection in there. See, 3 things on there. So what this does, this is so cool. So what this does is when you decelerate, the motion detector recognizes that you've slowed down, and without touching your brake, it makes your brake light in the back flash. So cool. The reason why it's so cool is because the Can-Am Ryker has great engine braking, which I love. Unfortunately, I hardly ever use, well, good and bad, I hardly ever use my brakes. So when I'm coming up to a red light, I just let off the accelerator, I let off the throttle. It's not a car. I let off the throttle and I just ease into a brake very quickly at a stoplight. So, and I do this in group rides too. And I have had other people behind me say, you know, you got to tap on your brakes more to let people behind you know that you're coming to a stop. So it is very important to let people behind you know. And this does that without having to step on the brakes. So again, super excited about this. So it's a tiny bit of a complicated install. It's not so quick as like a typical plug and play that you might get from other companies that have other things. But anyway, I bought this on Amazon. This was actually recommended from a sub of mine, John D. You're the best. And he recommended this, not that necessarily he's used it, but he just recommended some random places on Amazon to buy something like this. This one had great reviews. Of course, I'll post a link down below. You just click it if you want it. There are a lot of companies that make it. There might be other ones that the install job is a little bit easier, and hopefully it'll be a pretty doable install, but I'll walk you through it and I'll tell you what parts you need and everything to get started. So let's get over to the bike and let's see what we need to do. Okay, so the first thing, I took it off not, before I got on camera, but the first thing you need to do is take off this side panel. And the side panel, which is right here, has 3 pegs you need to take off. There's a peg here, a push pin right here, and also right here. So when it's on like this, so there is going to be one, and they're just push pins. There's one right underneath here. So I just, instead of taking this whole panel off, which is not necessarily fun to do, all I did was I lifted this up to access the push pin. And then there's another push pin here and another push pin underneath here where my finger is. So I take off those 3 push pins, and you want to be careful taking it off because you don't want any of the plastic pieces like this or anything to break. So you just want to do it gently, but it does pop right off. Now, let's talk about what we have in here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to access these wires here. So we have the black wire and the red wire. And what we're doing is we're splicing these wires to access the power from these wires. So what we're using is this really cool tool. So the wire is going to go right between here. It's going to cut it open. Then we're going to close it. And if you see this piece here, it's going to send also the power coming through there. So we're going to close it, and then we're going to attach we're going to attach this will go in here to access this. Very cool. So let me show you how we're going to do this. So we're just pushing it in. Sorry, my hands are, I'm trying to do this and also be able to get, so you can see with my hands where they are. All right, so you just push it through that little spot right there. Make sure it's in the right area. There you go. And then kind of pushing in there as hard as you can. And then you're going to close this up tight. Now you want to do this until it locks, because then it's going to, it's cut into the wire. Sorry for my hands. Okay, and I do recommend, if you can't get it, because for some reason my fingers are not that strong, you just take some pliers and you pinch them like that. Okay, so the needle nose pliers aren't working. I just can't get enough grab on there, so I'm going to use regular pliers. So it'll be easier for you guys because you're not trying to get it on camera. So I'm trying at this awkward angle to try to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, it's in. All set and ready to go. See, you've got the 2 wires there. All good. Okay, so now we've got these clamps on. They were a little bit difficult to put on, but this one was easy. This one took a little bit of finesse to get it on. Okay, we only tapped into the black wires, not the red wires. The black wires were the only ones that had constant power coming through. These are the only 2 that are their brake wires, so that's what we tapped into. Now, if you notice, we took off, I don't know where the piece is that we came off. There you go. All right, we just cut this piece off and put this one on, because this one's your grounding wire, and we needed to take it to a non-painted piece of metal on the bike. So we're going to attach it, we're going to undo this bolt, put it underneath there to have it grounded. So this was something, you know, I have a bag of them. They're very inexpensive. This one was a little bit too tight, so we just kind of widened it a little bit. So they come in different colors for different thicknesses, but this is what I had in the house, so I just made use of what I have. So let's put it together and see. So the gray one is going to be, see how there's 2 wires here? You have 1, 2. The wire that's closest is going to be the gray wire. I'm not going to get into all the technical details of why. That's just how it works. All right, so you want to push this on so it's nice and tight, obviously. And now this one, the wire closest to the bike, closest to the engine, is going to be the red and purple wire. Keep in mind, everything comes with directions, so you can look at the directions as well. You don't have to just go by my video. Okay, so that's in there nice and tight. And next we're going to do the ground wire. So this is a 10mm wrench, and I'm just going to lift it up a little bit to access the contact point underneath. Okay, so we just lift it up just a little bit to access this to kind of get in there. There you go. Yep, the flat, you know. This we just crimped on and put it on there. So now you just want to go underneath there, and then now you want to tighten it. Okay, make sure it's on there nice and tight. All right, so now this is the magic box here. So there's 2 ways of mounting this. This has to be level for the whole aspect of it. It has to be level because, again, it has a gyroscope that's going to let you know, and an accelerometer and a motion detector. So if you do the label side up, when you are decelerating, when you're taking your hand off the throttle without touching the brake, it is going to have your brake light come on. Now, if you do it the opposite way, where this part is down and the solid side is up, then when you release your throttle and your bike starts to decelerate on its own without touching the brake, it's going to give a pulsing, and that's what I want, is that pulsing mark. So you can do it either way, a straight brake light or flashing. I want it flashing. So what I'm going to do is, you want to make sure it's level. So I use my phone, or you can use a basic level. You want to make sure this is level. You want to make sure you put it on, it is level. And I did do that. So first thing you want to do when you do any project like this, before you put something on, if you're going to use anything sticky, you just want to take 91% alcohol. And you don't want to use anything less than 91% because it does leave a bit of a film. So it's always 91% or higher. Okay, let dry off. All right. Okay, nice and dry. So I'm going to use this 3M Scotch tape, It's a perfect size actually. Excuse me. And I'm also going to use, it comes with zip ties, and it comes with these little pegs to put underneath in case you need to level it, the different sizes. They come in different thicknesses, so in case you need to add something underneath it to make it level, it'll do that for you. So now, keep in mind, this is all going to be covered by the panel, so it's not a big deal. So you just want to make sure this is a nice, it has to be in a level, it doesn't have to go here, but it has to go on a level spot. You want to make sure when you put it on that it's not out this way, because then your panels, I'm not sure how much room you have. So you want to make sure it's pretty much flush with this. And then I'm definitely going to use the 2 zip ties that come with it, just to make sure that it is on there good and tight. Okay, I'm going to actually get another zip tie. I'm probably just going to zip tie this to make sure there's no wires hanging around. Always carry spare zip ties. My whole bike is held together by zip ties, so. Perfect timing for the videos. So I'm just going to put this on here too, and kind of come through here to tighten this up a little bit. I like a nice clean install. Okay, now we have to go test it out and see if it works. Before we put the panel back on, I definitely want to try it out and make sure it works before we put everything back together. So I'm going to test it out, and John's going to film me running away and see if it works. Let's see. Wish me luck. I hope this works. All right, let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to try this in my driveway, just right to the edge of my own driveway. So if you, obviously anytime you're on your bike, you want to be in full gear. I don't normally ride like this. This is just in my own driveway. So let's check it out. Okay, another cool feature I found out is when you are parked, but you're not parked, but if you're stopped at a stoplight and you don't have your foot on the brake, it still flashes. It looks like it's flashing differently, but that's just the camera angle. It flashes like normal hazard lights. I love that feature. So when I'm at a stoplight, you don't have to have your foot on the brake to let people know that you're stopped. I absolutely love that, because when I'm at a stoplight, typically what I do is I hit my brake pedal real fast to let people know that I'm coming up, that I'm stopped. So this completely gets rid of that. I'm so happy. So I just installed it before I post this video. I'm gonna ride around with her for a few weeks to make sure that I like it. So if you see this video, it means it's Beth approved and I love it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like this. Thank you, John D, for introducing this to me. I didn't even know this product existed. So I thank you so much for that. And thank you to John for Micro Parking Only for your mechanical assistance and your amazing filming expertise. I really appreciate it. So thank you, John. And thank you everybody else. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. Have an awesome day. And again, I'll see you next week. Stay tuned. I've got a lot of great stuff happening with the channel. And I'll check you later. Bye, everybody.